Did you know that 68% of seniors feel overwhelmed by clutter? It's not just about physical mess, it can weigh on your mind, your mood, and even your health. As we age, the spaces we live in become more than just places to sleep or store our belongings. They become reflections of our memories, our accomplishments, and sometimes, our fears. For many seniors, the idea of minimalism seems like a distant dream. The thought of letting go of sentimental items, or even just creating a cleaner, simpler space, feels like a daunting task. But what if I told you that minimalism doesn't have to mean throwing everything out? It doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing approach. In fact, embracing minimalism could be the key to regaining control over your space and, in turn, your life. As we get older, we start realizing that the things we hold on to don't define us, it's the memories and experiences that matter. So, if you're feeling like your home is bursting at the seams, don't worry. You're not alone. In this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the biggest mistakes seniors make when trying to downsize and simplify their homes, and more importantly, how to fix them. Whether you're downsizing for retirement, trying to reduce clutter, or simply creating a more peaceful space, these tips will help you clear the way for a more serene, fulfilling life. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss these essential tips. Jebediah is a 71-year-old retiree who spent decades working as a skilled carpenter. He built homes, repaired furniture, and created beautiful wooden pieces for friends and family. When his children moved out, he found himself alone in a house filled with decades of memories, projects, and keepsakes. At first, the idea of simplifying his life sounded appealing. His home, once filled with the energy of a young family, had become too quiet, and the clutter was starting to feel overwhelming. The idea of minimalism seemed like the perfect solution. Jebediah envisioned a home with only the essentials: clean surfaces, open spaces, and a sense of calm. But as he started the process of decluttering, it became clear that it wasn't going to be as easy as he had imagined. Shelves were filled with tools he hadn't used in years, yet each item carried memories he couldn't bring himself to part with. Family heirlooms, old photos, and keepsakes piled up, each one telling the story of a life well lived. Every piece seemed irreplaceable, making it difficult to let go. What Jebediah didn't expect was how emotionally draining the process would be. Decluttering wasn't just about cleaning out his home, it was about confronting the past, the memories, and the fears of letting go of significant parts of his life. He found himself torn between wanting to create more space and peace, and the emotional connection to the things that defined his journey. Jebediah's experience is one that many seniors can relate to. As we age, our homes become more than just living spaces. They house memories, relationships, and the stories of our lives. But sometimes, all that stuff can start to feel like a burden, preventing us from moving forward. The challenge isn't about getting rid of everything, it's about finding the right balance between keeping meaningful items and making room for new possibilities. Jebediah is learning that minimalism isn't about losing everything but about making space for what truly matters. Mistake 1. Decluttering without a plan. Decluttering is often seen as a simple task, something that can be done in a weekend or with just a few hours of work. But many seniors, like Jebediah, quickly find that it's more complicated than it first appears. When you jump into decluttering without a clear strategy, it's easy to get overwhelmed and frustrated, and the process can quickly turn into a cycle of stress and regret. Instead of feeling accomplished, you might end up even more bogged down by the sheer number of things to sort through. So, how do you avoid that? The answer is simple: planning. The first step is to create a clear, actionable plan. Decluttering isn't a one-size-fits-all project. It's important to start with a strategy that makes sense for your life and your home. The key here is not to dive in headfirst without any direction, but to break it down into manageable chunks. Start with just one room. Trying to tackle the entire house at once can lead to burnout, and it's easy to lose focus when you see so much to do. Focusing on one room helps you stay on track and maintain your energy. Next, set a timer for 30 minutes. It might seem like a small amount of time, but you'd be surprised at how much you can accomplish when you know you have a time limit. This time constraint helps to prevent you from getting bogged down in details and keeps you focused on making progress, not perfection. Remember, the goal is to make a dent in the clutter, not to finish everything in one go. You can always come back later for a second round. As you work through each room, focus on items you haven't used in the past year. It's easy to hold on to things because of emotional attachment or the thought that you might need it someday. But if you haven't used something in the last 12 months, it's likely that you can part with it. This doesn't mean you have to throw everything out, but it does mean being intentional about what stays and what goes. Start with items that are easy to part with, and build up to the harder decisions. Having a clear plan not only makes decluttering more manageable but also prevents the overwhelming feeling that often accompanies it. A plan gives you control over the process and provides a clear path forward, making it easier to stay motivated and avoid burnout. By the end of your 30-minute session, you'll be surprised by how much lighter you feel, both in terms of your physical space and your mental clarity. So, take a deep breath, start small, and remember, progress is what counts, not perfection. Mistake 2. Holding onto sentimental items out of guilt. It's easy to understand why so many seniors find it difficult to part with sentimental items. These belongings represent significant moments in our lives, the keepsakes from our children's childhoods, the gifts from loved ones, the furniture that witnessed countless family gatherings. Over time, these items accumulate, filling up our homes and our hearts. The challenge, however, is that many of these items are kept not out of a true desire to hold on to them, but because of a feeling of guilt, the guilt of letting go, of thinking that by parting with them, we are somehow losing a part of the people, experiences, or memories they represent. Jebediah, like many of us, was attached to his collection of sentimental items. He had his late wife's favorite chair, the hand-carved table his son had made in school, and stacks of old photo albums that reminded him of holidays and family vacations. Each item felt irreplaceable, a tangible connection to moments long past. But as the years passed, the clutter started to take its toll on his living space. His home, once a sanctuary, was now crowded with reminders of the past that left him feeling weighed down, rather than comforted. The truth is, holding onto things out of guilt is more about fear than sentiment. We fear forgetting the memories or losing the connection to those moments. But what many seniors don't realize is that by clinging to these items out of obligation, we're not only holding on to physical objects, but also to the emotional burden they carry. The key to moving forward is learning to separate the memory from the item. One of the most effective ways to manage this is by digitizing your sentimental items. Take photos of the cherished belongings that no longer serve a practical purpose in your home and create a digital memory album. This allows you to preserve the memory without the physical clutter. In a way, you're not saying goodbye, you're simply shifting the focus from the object to the experience and emotion it represents. The beauty of digital memories is that they can be kept in an organized, accessible format, so you can revisit them whenever you like, without feeling weighed down by excess. Start small. Begin with the items that are easier to part with, perhaps a collection of old cards or small keepsakes from travels. Once you've scanned or photographed them, you might find that it gets easier to let go of other items. You might even find joy in revisiting the memories in a new form, without the burden of clutter. Remember, the memories aren't tied to physical things, they live in your heart and mind. Holding on to guilt only holds you back from embracing the present and the future. Letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about making space for new memories to flourish. Mistake 3. Not considering future needs. When embarking on a minimalist journey, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of clearing out clutter and creating a clean, serene space. We often focus on the present moment and what feels right for us now, but one critical factor can easily be overlooked: our future needs. What we consider functional and comfortable today may not be practical tomorrow, especially as we age and our mobility changes. Designing a minimalist home without thinking ahead can unintentionally create obstacles that make everyday living more difficult as time goes on. Jebediah quickly learned this lesson as he downsized into a simpler, more minimalist space. While he was thrilled to clear out the excess and create a calm, clutter-free home, he didn't initially consider how his needs might change over the years. His new minimalist living room, with its sleek furniture and open spaces, looked beautiful, but it wasn't as practical as he had hoped. The coffee table was too low to the ground, making it difficult to get up from, and the shelves were high, requiring him to stretch and climb a step stool to reach items. As the weeks passed, these small inconveniences began to add up. It's easy to overlook accessibility when you're focused on aesthetics, but future-proofing your home is crucial. Consider how your physical needs might evolve in the next few years. This doesn't mean you need to fill your home with medical equipment or make it look like an assisted living facility. Rather, think about creating a living space that supports your current lifestyle while anticipating any future changes in mobility or health. For instance, ensure that your living space has clear pathways, especially in areas you use frequently. A clutter-free environment is wonderful, but it's important to also create ample space for easy movement. If you use a walker or cane, you'll need room to move around without tripping over obstacles. Furniture should be arranged in a way that allows for smooth, unobstructed paths from room to room. Additionally, place commonly used items within easy reach. It may seem simple, but having objects like kitchen utensils, remote controls, or personal items within arm's reach can make a huge difference in reducing strain. Reaching for high shelves or bending down to the floor can be tiring, especially if you face mobility challenges. Think about making these adjustments in your home now so that you don't have to worry about them later. One of the simplest ways to future-proof your space is to invest in furniture and decor that is both functional and comfortable. For example, select chairs and couches that offer good support and are easy to get in and out of. Choose rugs with non-slip backing to avoid tripping hazards, and consider installing grab bars in key areas like bathrooms or hallways. These small changes add up, making your space not just beautiful, but safe and accessible. In the end, designing a minimalist home isn't just about creating a visually appealing space. It's about designing a space that supports you today, while also anticipating the changes that come with aging. Thoughtful planning can prevent challenges down the road and allow you to continue enjoying your home for many years to come. Mistake 4. Overlooking emotional attachment. Decluttering is more than just a physical process of organizing and discarding unwanted items. For many seniors, the challenge of letting go of personal belongings is deeply emotional. Each item in your home represents a memory, a moment in time, or a relationship that has shaped your life. Whether it's a favorite chair, a family heirloom, or a photograph, these objects carry far more significance than their physical presence. The emotional attachment to these items can make the act of decluttering feel overwhelming, and ignoring these feelings can lead to regret or a sense of loss. Take Jebediah's experience, for example. As he began the decluttering process, he came across a box that had belonged to his late wife. Inside were letters, trinkets, and photos from their early years together, precious reminders of their life. Jebediah held the box in his hands, torn between the desire to let go of the past and the powerful emotional pull to keep it. For him, that box wasn't just a container, it was a direct link to his most cherished memories. The thought of parting with it left him conflicted and uneasy. What Jebediah learned, and what many seniors face, is that emotional attachment is a valid part of the decluttering process. It's natural to feel connected to objects that hold sentimental value. These items often tell the story of our lives, and their emotional weight can't be ignored. However, what matters is how we deal with that attachment. Rather than pushing those feelings aside, it's important to acknowledge them and approach the decluttering process with care and compassion for ourselves. One way to handle emotional attachments is by passing down meaningful items to family members who will cherish them. This allows you to hold on to the memory of the item without the burden of keeping it in your home. Passing along family heirlooms, photographs, or treasured possessions can be a beautiful way to preserve those memories, while giving them new life in the hands of others who share your connection to them. The key is finding balance. You don't have to part with everything that has sentimental value, but you can create space for new memories without feeling like you're losing the past. By acknowledging your emotions and making intentional choices about what to keep, share, or let go, you can create a living space that reflects not only your past but also the freedom to embrace the future. Mistake 5. Misunderstanding minimalism. When most people think of minimalism, they envision stark, empty spaces with bare walls and very little furniture. While this is one interpretation of minimalism, it's a misconception, especially when it comes to senior living. Minimalism isn't about removing everything until your home feels cold and barren. It's about creating a space that works for you, that supports your lifestyle, and that brings you peace of mind. It's about curating a home where every item serves a purpose or sparks joy, rather than holding on to things out of obligation or habit. Jebediah, like many others, initially misunderstood what minimalism really meant. He thought that in order to be minimalist, he had to throw away everything that wasn't strictly necessary. His first instinct was to get rid of nearly all his furniture, thinking that an empty space would look cleaner and more streamlined. But as the process went on, he realized that his living room, once filled with meaningful pieces, now felt sterile and uncomfortable. The bare walls made it feel more like a showroom than a home. He quickly realized that minimalism isn't about having an empty room, it's about having a room that makes sense for your needs and your life. Minimalism, in its true form, doesn't mean getting rid of everything you love or everything that has personal value. It's about carefully choosing what stays and what goes, based on how functional or meaningful the item is to you. For example, a well-worn armchair that you enjoy reading in is far more valuable than a sleek, uncomfortable chair just because it fits the minimalist aesthetic. Minimalism is about creating comfort, not sacrifice. The goal is to focus on the essentials. Consider the items that truly enhance your quality of life. Do the things around you make you feel calm, happy, and supported? Does your furniture promote easy movement and comfort? Are the items in your home functional, or do they just take up space? It's about identifying what you use and love, and letting go of the things that just add clutter or aren't relevant anymore. You don't have to completely redesign your life to fit into some strict minimalist mold. Instead, curate your space to reflect your needs, preferences, and comfort. A minimalist home for seniors should prioritize accessibility and ease of use. Choose furniture that is comfortable and supportive, and remove obstacles that could hinder movement. This doesn't mean your home has to be empty, but that every item has a purpose, whether it's for comfort, functionality, or sentiment. Ultimately, minimalism is about creating a space that serves you, making your environment a reflection of your current needs and life stage. When you focus on what truly adds value to your life, you'll find that your space feels more open, less cluttered, and more peaceful. It's about striking the right balance. Less is more, but only if it's the right less. Mistake 6. Ignoring digital clutter. In today's world, clutter isn't just physical, it can also be digital. Many seniors focus on clearing physical spaces but overlook the growing digital clutter accumulating over time. From overflowing inboxes to disorganized digital files and old documents scattered across devices, digital clutter can be just as overwhelming as physical mess. It can cause anxiety, reduce productivity, and make it hard to find important information when you need it most. Jebediah, like many others, hadn't given much thought to his digital life. His inbox was filled with years of unread newsletters, spam, and old offers. His computer desktop was cluttered with photos, documents, and downloads, making it hard to find what he needed. As a result, his digital life became just as chaotic as his physical space. What Jebediah quickly realized was that ignoring digital clutter was just as draining as leaving his physical space disorganized. It not only slowed down his computer but also left him feeling scattered and unproductive. To fix this, he needed a strategy for managing digital clutter, just like he did with his home. Start by organizing your digital files into clearly labeled folders. Group documents by type, like financial records, family photos, or receipts. This system will help you locate what you need quickly and keep everything in order. Next, tackle your inbox. Unsubscribe from unnecessary email lists and delete old messages. Many email services offer tools to help clean up your inbox by finding and removing outdated emails. Lastly, back up your important documents and photos. Using cloud services or external hard drives ensures your critical data is safe and accessible, providing peace of mind and reducing the risk of losing valuable information. Clearing digital clutter is about more than just tidying up your devices. It's about creating mental clarity and reducing stress. Just as you declutter your physical space, organizing your digital life can lead to a calmer, more efficient routine. Start small, tackle one task at a time, and enjoy the benefits of a simplified digital world. Mistake 7. Not involving family. Decluttering is often seen as a solitary task, something we do on our own to clear up space. But what many seniors fail to realize is that the process can be deeply emotional, particularly when it comes to sorting through belongings that have strong sentimental value. These items aren't just objects, they are memories, moments, and connections to loved ones. Attempting to declutter alone, without the support or input of family members, can create feelings of isolation, and in some cases, even lead to frustration and regret. Jebediah found this out the hard way. When he first began to declutter, he felt overwhelmed by the emotional weight of the items he was sorting through. Every picture, every old tool, every piece of furniture told a story. But he felt unsure about what to keep and what to let go. He was faced with tough decisions, and the weight of these choices began to take an emotional toll. As a result, Jebediah found himself stuck in the process, unable to move forward. What Jebediah soon realized is that decluttering doesn't have to be a lonely experience. In fact, involving family in the process can provide much-needed support, perspective, and even shared memories that make it easier to part with things. For many seniors, their home is filled with items that have been passed down from previous generations, things that children or grandchildren might appreciate more than they realize. Involving your family can give them the opportunity to claim those items, ensuring that they stay within the family and are cherished by the next generation. Scheduling a decluttering day with family members can help lighten the emotional load. This is a time to reminisce, share stories, and make decisions together. Family members can offer their opinions on what's truly valuable and what can be passed on or donated. Often, family members have a fresh perspective on items that might be too emotional for you to let go of. What might feel like an irreplaceable piece of your life to you may be seen by your children or grandchildren as something they want to preserve or pass down themselves. This shared experience not only helps with the decision-making process but also creates a sense of connection and closure. You're not just sorting through items alone, you're sharing memories, celebrating your history, and involving the next generation in your story. Plus, seeing how much your family values certain items can help you feel more at peace with the process. Remember, decluttering isn't just about cleaning out physical space, it's about creating a new chapter in your life. And having the support of your family makes that chapter even more meaningful. So, before diving into your next decluttering session, reach out to your loved ones and invite them to share in the process. Together, you'll create not only a more organized space but also a deeper sense of connection to your past and future. Mistake 8. Overcomplicating the process. One of the most common mistakes people make when embracing minimalism is overcomplicating the process. Many seniors believe that minimalism means making drastic changes, completely overhauling their homes, throwing out everything they don't use, and creating a spotless, empty space. This perfectionist mindset can often lead to stress, confusion, and a sense of defeat before even getting started. The truth is, minimalism doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the beauty of minimalism lies in its simplicity. Jebediah initially thought that adopting a minimalist lifestyle meant he had to purge every room of unnecessary belongings in a single weekend. He imagined an empty house, devoid of personal touches, and tried to follow online advice that suggested drastic steps to create the perfect minimalist space. But what he didn't realize was that trying to do it all at once made him feel overwhelmed and, eventually, burned out. His well-intentioned efforts led to exhaustion, and he began to feel like he was losing the essence of his home, the memories and comfort that made it special to him. What Jebediah, and many others, missed is that minimalism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The key to successfully adopting a minimalist lifestyle is to start small and be intentional. Minimalism isn't about getting rid of everything, it's about keeping what truly serves you and letting go of what doesn't. Begin by choosing one room or even one drawer to declutter. Trying to tackle everything in one go is unrealistic and can lead to feelings of defeat. Focusing on one small area allows you to see progress, which in turn motivates you to continue. It's also important to let go of the idea that minimalism has to look a certain way. Your home doesn't need to be sparse or sterile to be minimalist. Minimalism is about creating a space that functions well for you and brings you peace. If you have items that hold sentimental value, or if you simply enjoy a more personal, cozy environment, that's okay. Minimalism doesn't mean you have to strip your home of all character, it means simplifying it in a way that feels right for you. Consistency is the key. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes each day to declutter. These small, consistent actions will eventually lead to a more organized, peaceful space. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Minimalism isn't a race, it's a journey. It's not about doing everything perfectly or quickly, it's about making steady progress that suits your needs and lifestyle. Mistake 9. Fearing change. Change is a powerful force, and for many seniors, it can be daunting. The thought of transforming your living space or lifestyle can stir up fear and uncertainty. A home filled with years of memories and familiar belongings offers comfort, making the idea of change feel overwhelming. But what if I told you that change isn't something to fear, but something to embrace as an opportunity for growth? Jebediah's journey into minimalism began with fear. He struggled to part with belongings because they represented memories, his late wife, his children's milestones, and countless cherished moments. The idea of changing his home felt like he'd be losing something valuable, even though he was overwhelmed by the clutter around him. His fear of change kept him from embracing the potential for a better, more functional space. What Jebediah didn't realize was that change could be a form of freedom. Embracing change doesn't mean forgetting the past, it means making space for the present and future. It's about creating a home that reflects your current needs and lifestyle. As we age, our priorities shift. What once worked for a large family may no longer serve us in the same way. By letting go of things that no longer add value, we create a space that supports our current way of living, making it more comfortable and functional. Fear of change often comes from the worry of losing memories or feeling disconnected from the past. But in reality, change doesn't erase memories, it makes space for new ones. The items we hold onto don't define us. Our memories live in our hearts, and by adapting our space, we make room for new experiences. If you're afraid of change, start small. Tackle one room or even one corner at a time. Embrace the opportunity to create a home that reflects who you are today. Change is not something to fear, but a chance to make your space work for you. Mistake 10. Not celebrating progress. In the journey toward minimalism, it's easy to get fixated on the end goal, a perfectly organized, clutter-free home. However, focusing solely on the destination can lead to burnout and frustration, as the process of simplifying can take time. It's important to recognize that minimalism is not an overnight transformation. It's a journey that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to celebrate the small victories along the way. Jebediah's experience is a perfect example of this. At first, he was so focused on the idea of having a completely minimalist space that he became discouraged when he didn't see immediate results. The clutter in his home felt overwhelming, and he didn't take time to acknowledge the progress he was making. Each time he cleared a drawer or donated a few items, it seemed insignificant compared to the bigger task of overhauling his entire home. But as he continued the process, he realized that those small actions were just as important as a full room makeover. They were the foundation of his larger goal. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, keeps you motivated and helps maintain a sense of accomplishment. Minimalism isn't about achieving perfection, it's about making intentional choices and creating a space that serves your needs. Each time you clear a small area or organize a single drawer, take a moment to appreciate the peace and clarity it brings. Recognizing these victories boosts your confidence and encourages you to keep going. Setting small, achievable goals can also make the process less daunting. Instead of thinking about decluttering the entire house, focus on one task at a time, such as organizing your closet or clearing off a counter. Celebrate these moments of success, as they are stepping stones toward a more intentional living space. By celebrating the small wins, you'll find that the journey becomes more enjoyable and sustainable. Minimalism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Each small action you take, whether it's sorting through old books or organizing a drawer, is a step toward a more peaceful, intentional home. Embrace these small victories, reflect on how far you've come, and celebrate the progress, because that's what truly matters in the pursuit of a simpler, more fulfilling life. Jebediah's journey is a testament to the power of minimalism in transforming not just a home, but also a mindset. For him, it wasn't about creating an empty, sterile space. It was about clearing away the clutter to make room for what truly mattered. Over the course of his journey, Jebediah learned that minimalism doesn't have to be a strict, one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding the balance between keeping what's meaningful and letting go of what no longer serves you. Like many of us, Jebediah's emotional connection to his belongings was a barrier, but he found that embracing change and simplifying his space brought him a deeper sense of peace and clarity. Through each small step, from decluttering a drawer to re-evaluating sentimental items, he created a home that better supported his current lifestyle. He discovered that minimalism doesn't have to be intimidating. It's a personal journey that can be done one small decision at a time, at your own pace. Now, imagine what could happen if you embraced your own minimalist journey. What if your home was not filled with things you've outgrown, but with only what truly brings you peace and purpose? Picture the mental clarity and emotional freedom that comes with a home that reflects who you are today, a space that supports your present needs while honoring your past. Minimalism is more than just a way to clean your space. It's a way to simplify your life and focus on what matters most. Are you ready to start your own journey? It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Begin by taking small steps, celebrating every bit of progress, and being kind to yourself throughout the process. Don't let fear or guilt hold you back. Embrace the opportunity to create a home that serves you and brings you joy. If you found this video helpful and you're ready to simplify your life, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this today, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical tips on minimalism, decluttering, and making space for what truly matters. Let's take this journey together, one step at a time.